things come in waves, right? So like here's winter and everybody's inside. Of course, it's winter right now in Australia. Okay, but this isn't a pleasing time for Australians when we go live. But everybody's inside now. Everybody's out at the lake. I know we got people joining and tuning in for the first time. So welcome to you, especially if you're here with us live right now. Welcome. So couple things. We just had our practical entrepreneurial tips that happens at 4 a.m. Pacific, 7 a.m. Eastern. So what's at noon, right? London time with our friend Ego Obi. So I'm going to get the posting of that recording as soon as we're done talking here. So practical entrepreneurial tips. This happens every other week here in the John Lavenia Success Mastermind. Ego, who knows stuff, by the way, in case anyone doesn't know Ego, she knows stuff. Okay. Well, I think everyone here knows stuff, right? Ego knows other kinds of stuff. And so she shares her experience with practical entrepreneurial tips every other week. Now, because it is Friday, well, right now it's summer. And so we have Teresa's out for a couple months doing the summer thing. She'll be back, I'm expecting, by end of July with her, or maybe end of August with her integrative health talks. But I am traveling right now, in case that's not apparent. By the way, my lighting is atrocious. So I'm kind of, tweaking the gain here on the, hopefully you guys can see me okay. I'm sure it doesn't look as gorgeous as I usually do, but I'm traveling. I am not going to be available for Be Heard for like the first time ever. I'm not going to be available to do the Be Heard thing at 6 p.m. Eastern. So here's what I'm going to suggest. Anyone who's here, whether you're here live or you're listening to this, on the YouTube or recording, right? If you're a member, you got something that needs my attention, I want to hear from you via the Facebook group. Of course, we got our private members only Facebook group. So tag me, right? So let me know. I'm not on Facebook often, okay? But let me know if there's something that you'd like taken up, some issue, some topic, a question. I mean, this is our group, you guys. This is our family. So the fact that I'm going to be probably taking my daughter to the beach or boardwalk or something at 6 p.m. Eastern doesn't mean that I don't want to hear from you. All right. Plus, you all got my email address, right? Whenever you enroll as a member, and some of you have been a member for like a year. Okay. But remember when you enrolled as a member, there was a whole series of emails that I sent you, right? You just replied to any of them. In fact, maybe go back through them, keep it fresh, right? So I know I don't email much, but you probably thank me for that. John, we got enough email, quite enough. Thank you. I was just emptying my inboxes, plural. I was just emptying my inboxes from all the various business email accounts. My goodness, the amount of spam I get. You know what? That's what we're going to probably talk about here today. Not spam per se, but the alternative to spam. Before we do that, though, it is Fun Friday. So if anybody's got an animal, you want to do a dog show, or you got a joke, I'm looking at you right now, Edward, with that orange shirt. Okay. So you guys got something to say. I want to hear it. I just heard a joke from my father's wife here. Maybe I'll share that with you. But of course, Gail is here. So I'm just going to go ahead and yield the floor. Whenever Gail's here, she's the host. Go ahead, Gail. What do you got to say for yourself?
Okay, I have one. Three old guys are out walking. First one says, "Windy, isn't it?" And the second one says, "No, it's Thursday." Third one says, "So am I. Let's go get a beer." A lady was telling her neighbor, "I just bought a new hearing aid. It cost me $4,000, but it's a state of the art. It's perfect." "Really?" answered the neighbor. "What kind is it?" $12.30. One more. A little old man shuffled slowly into an ice cream parlor and pulled himself slowly and painfully up onto a stool. After catching his breath, he ordered a banana split. And the waitress asked kindly, "Crushed nuts?" "No," he replied, "arthritis."
Oh, Gail, that's awesome. Oh, thank you, Gail. Hey, is that Mandy's cat? What do we got there, Mandy?
It's huge.
Yes, this is my feral cat, but he's inside having a really good old brush. I don't know how much you can see of him. He's so cute. He's a Maine Coon. He's really huge. His paw.
Wow.
Like, oh my God.
My goodness.
So gorgeous.
Gorgeous cat. Very fluffy. Very fluffy looking. I don't know what kind of lint brush you use, but I'm sure it's significant.
He lives outside, but I've just taken God knows how much fur off of him, poor thing. He won't let me catch him, and I managed to catch him this afternoon because he used to be catching him when it's light out. I usually catch him when it's dark out, and I put food out, and this time it was light out and he wasn't expecting it. So
Yeah.
bless him.
Because he knows he's going to get brushed.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Because he knows he's going to get brushed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He's like, forget it.
Oh, he's very good though in the end. Oh, gorgeous. Right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mandy. I'm going to go ahead and change your name from meeting host to Mandy. You're apparently in on the hosting account. So I will get that handled for you. Rename.
I thought I signed out. Obviously, I
Mandy.
didn't.
That's okay. You're forgiven. All right. I'll drop your hand as well. Anybody else? Jokes? I got one. So there's these three guys that are at a lake and they decide to go swimming in the lake without their clothes. They don't have bathing suits. So they just jump in the lake, they're doing their thing. And then like some girls come and like they steal the clothes, right? And so these guys, one by one, jump out of the lake. And one first guy jumps out of his lake. They're from different countries. So we'll say, you know, an American, a Brit, and a Japanese. Okay. And so the American guy jumps out of the lake, covers his crotch area, and runs into the woods, right? And the second guy, the British guy, jumps out of the lake, covers his crotch, and runs into the woods. Japanese guy jumps out of the lake, covers his face, and runs into the woods. And later, when they're all dressed, they say, "Why did you cover your face?" He said, "Well, where I come from, we're recognized, you know, by this part of our body, not this part." So, yeah. All right. Anybody else? Thank you again for that, feral cat. I see Mandy doing this and this. Yeah. Okay. Here's what I'm going to bring up with you guys today. First of all, thank you to Glenn Henderson, who held down the fort yesterday, because I know Mark was traveling and I was in flight at general session time. So thank you, Glenn. Is Giovanna here? Giovanna's here, ladies and gentlemen. It's really good to see that you're here. Interested to hear about your progress. You know what? That's what we're going to take up right now. We're going to take up being genuine, which I think is a fun topic. I just had with my consulting work that I do, I just had a call with 10 or 15 newbies, people who are new to the business model, which they've paid money to engage in and learn the ways of e-commerce and all this. And you know, I get to be a mentor to that group. And it was interesting, unsolicited, what one gentleman just said while we were meeting, again, unsolicited, how real, not just myself, but staff members have made it for the people who are considering engaging in this potentially scary new world of opportunity. And, you know, I mean, if they already knew what to do, they'd already be doing it. And there's so many false prophets online. This is what I was getting. This is unsolicited feedback I was getting, which doesn't surprise me, because I haven't had any intent on like pretending to be an expert in areas that I'm not, or sound important, or assert my rightness to you. Look at me, I'm so right. I mean, that's not what motivates me, and it hasn't motivated me for a long time, right? So for me, it wasn't like a shocking thing, like, oh my goodness, yes. Oh, well, thank you for, you know, wow, I've really done something special. Okay. But in contrast, okay, to the uninitiated who has been, encumbered with, or have put themselves in the way of many things which were not as supportive, not as genuine, not as authentic, in some cases, not as ethical, right? That's an interesting one. To then confront, and by contrast, oh, wow, here's something, these people actually give a damn. Right? We're talking for real now. Like we're real people. We're having a conversation. Like that's a big deal for people. In fact, you know that if you just, I'm having a bad hair day. It is total humidity here. Oh my goodness. Look at my hair. Crikey. I need to get some more pomade in there. And my lighting is really bad. So this is as good as it's going to get right now. But do you know that if you just acknowledge people, it completely changes their experience of you and your relationship? Think about this. I know we've taken this up before. This is good stuff. But if you have, is Carlene here as well? Hi, Carlene. I'm just seeing Carlene's name come up in the chat. It's like, Carlene's here, Carlene. Wow, we got some of the usual suspects showing up here today. I'm really glad to see you guys. So so here's two people engaged in a disagreement. Okay, I know we've taken this up before, but it's been some months. All right. So picture in your mind the disagreement, the argument, right? And as soon as one person is talking, the other one is already considering their retort because they disagree, right? And so maybe they don't even get to finish their statement or their accusation or whatever ugly stuff, right? And here's the other person, I'm going to be just as ugly and show you how wrong you are, right? And so people get kind of bound up in all their, again, asserting their own rightness or defending their position about stuff. What if we just listened, even if we know that the person's wrong, right? Because we know what we know, and who knows, I could be wrong too. I've been wrong at times in my life. Maybe I'll admit that. Yeah, okay, I'll admit that. So why don't I just listen? Because, a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. Let me fully understand. Let me fully grasp the position that they're defending or that they're asserting right now. And now that they've said their piece, I can acknowledge that. That doesn't mean agree. That doesn't mean, oh, you're right. That could also be an acknowledgement, but that's an agreement. Okay. But how about an acknowledgement like, I understand, or I got it, or I get what you're saying, right? So something like that. Now what? They were heard, and they know they were heard. Doesn't that take the whole thing down and de-escalate the whole thing? Of course it does. And if it works in a situation which has, high tension on it, could it not also work just habitually in daily conversation? You know how many times I'm in a restaurant and I hear, or I don't hear, here's what I don't hear, right? Here comes the server, right? And to fill the water glasses or what have you. And people don't even acknowledge them. I always acknowledge the server. Thank you. Right? That's it. That's an acknowledgement. Thank you. Oh, they noticed that I'm here, that I'm alive. You guys know that we've talked about often. We talk about the impression of increase while Steve waddles, right? So just the fact that I may not be the guy behind the counter selling the stick of candy or whatever, right? I happen to be the customer. Isn't it also incumbent upon me to impress the guy behind the counter or the waiter at the table or whoever, the person I'm disagreeing with or agreeing with or having some experience with? Isn't it incumbent upon me to impress them with increase? And just an acknowledgement is like, it seems so small, but just letting others know that they're heard, which is why I'm lamenting today that I'm not going to be around for the be heard thing. That's okay, right? You guys know how to get in touch with me. But why did I even put that on the calendar in the first place, right? Because it is that vital. We got a little background noise here. Okay. It is that vital that people be acknowledged. I've been, so not only was I just acknowledged, by the new guy in the business deal who was, admiring how authentic and accessible, actual leaders are, not just false prophets that want to, run them up the river or whatever. So that's nice. I'm glad you're here. Congratulations. Okay. But do you know how much more apt that guy or anyone else, let's say a customer, for example, how much more apt they are to then go into agreement with you if you've got something that could benefit them? Remember the impression of increase. What did Waddle say about it? The advancing man, the advancing woman, everyone who comes into communication with me, potentially business, whatever, right? But they experience what? Advancement, increase. And it may not be transactional in this moment. I've got nothing to exchange with you at this exact moment. Give me money, right? Okay, fine. But what about tomorrow? Does your money spend just as well tomorrow as it does today? How about next year? Right? I've had people on like my email lists where they're interested in make money online or books, coaching, what have you, right? Who've been on the list for years. Never bought anything. But then one day, right? Something changed in their life. The filters changed. They had a fight with the boss. Now they're looking for the online business thing or, whatever the circumstances are, which change all the time. And now, you know what? I've really gotten some value from Virginia, right? From Edward, from Mandy, you know what, let me go ahead, let me go deal with them because they seem to know stuff, right? So they felt acknowledged, even though there wasn't a dialogue there. You entered a conversation that was already going on in the mind of this person. And when the time was right, and those filters lined up, or the planets or whatever, right? You're who came up for them. Why do you think advertisers work so hard on crafting a message to bring people closer to them emotionally? Think about this, right? So something as commonplace as Coca-Cola. Why do they even still advertise? They want people to relate to that. In fact, that's one of the ways that that product became so prolific, right? Is that here's a picture of the people in every scene imaginable, at the beach, at the wedding. Here's Santa Claus with the Coca-Cola, right? Everybody can relate to this, right? I feel acknowledged. I feel like you understand me. Really, what we're talking about, if we really break it down, are the components of understanding. This has to be mutual, and we can use machinery like emails and websites and all that to induce or to further that. But that's on a macro sense. On a micro sense, it's how you interact with people every day. I see Virginia's cat giving us a little show. But that's how we interact with people every day, right? Habitually. Think about it like this. If it's now time to produce the website, the advertisement, the product listing on Amazon, whatever it happens to be, it's now time to produce an asset in picture and word or recording, video, I don't care, whatever the asset is. Okay. Here's the question. Who's producing it? And what words are you choosing? Right? These assets don't just spring up out of the ground spontaneously, right? Somebody has to originate that stuff. Someone who habitually seeks to impress others with increase, in other words, to acknowledge, to enter the conversation that's already going on in their head, to make this real for them, so they can relate to you, and thereby what? Increase cooperation and decrease resistance, skepticism. Sure, we're talking sales jargon now, but where does that not work in life? When are you not selling? And again, if you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail, right? So I think in terms of sales and marketing, because I've been in this space forever, but but I'll tell you what, it's very pleasing for me to think like that, because it's so workable in my life. And who do I have to sell sometimes, not even knowing it? It's myself. It's myself. This is the biggest sale you can make, right? Can you impress yourself with increase? Do you acknowledge yourself? If we're walking around with like this whole conversation of self-deprecation, right? Or I'm not celebrating my own wins, my own successes. I'm not stopping to smell the roses or coffee or whatever you like to smell, right? If it's always again, I got to do more and more and more. It's never enough. That's not quite a profound acknowledgement. That's a bit short-sighted. So apparently I have people behind me here. My goodness, I've got people behind me. I'm not alone in this room. Hi, ladies. Okay, so we're on a live international broadcast. Yay. Yeah, okay. Totally broke my train of thought, but hopefully I made a thought there, something that you got out of all that. What do you guys think? In terms of acknowledgement and in terms of impressing people with increase, I know this is a recurring theme, but also impressing yourself with increase. In other words, acknowledging yourself, buying you, and that you're quite sufficient. In fact, you're way above average, right? If you just do these things, but you got to acknowledge it. Otherwise you go unacknowledged. And as within, so without, it's the same thing with the other guy now, right? He needs to be acknowledged. She needs to be acknowledged. Doesn't mean you agree necessarily. You can also acknowledge yourself for having, missed the mark, which is a beautiful thing to do, because you can't solve a problem until you can confront the problem, confront the friggin' problem, acknowledge the problem. Okay, great. I know I got a problem now. Let's fix it. Right? So avoidance isn't the answer, right? Or being aloof or not present. That isn't the answer. What do you guys think about this? I'd love to hear from a couple of you. And again, I am so glad to see some of my long lost friends are here with us today. Good to see you guys. So glad you're all here. Come on out. My goodness, we got Evelyn Melendez here, Madam Chop Chop. Look at this all-star cast. I am just, hey, Evelyn, Madam Chop Chop.
Hey.
How are you doing? What are you doing over there?
I am at my lunch break and finally able to come and say hello. I miss you guys.
We missed you. We miss your daily posts and all that too. Yeah. How's it going, by the way? How's it going with your work?
Great. It's going great. I need more people to hire. Other than that, we're doing great.
Oh, good.
But I've been listening to you on YouTube. I do get the notification, so I do get to listen in.
Right.
But what I cannot do is come in and share and,
Right.
say something because, I get calls, I'm interviewing somebody maybe,
Mhm.
but yeah, I miss you guys.
Well, good. And you're looking for people who want to participate in the operation. So what kind of roles are you looking for? Because we've got people who watch this all over the world and YouTube and everything. So what are you looking for? And how should people contact you?
Normally, I will be hiring across the United States, but the office I work for now is focused only on South Florida and everything that is administrative positions. But I'm sure that you're going to agree with me that maybe some people will not, but we've had people on unemployment for too long, and the federal money that was given to them is allowing people to stay home without having to work. And we are suffering, employers are suffering because we have a lack of talent that want to get off unemployment and get off, what else, to come back to work.
Wow.
So that's a challenge. And we have jobs galore.
Right. Yes.
So-
And you're in a right to work conservative state, so people can come and work. But if they're incentivized to not work, that's not workable, right? So
yeah, and you know what? Though South Florida has the lowest unemployment pay. It is $275 a week. $275 a week. It doesn't matter if you were making $500,000 a year, or if you were making $30,000 a year, you still get the same. So you will think people want to, make more money. As a matter of fact, all the other jobs that are administrative, clerical, receptionist, everything is starting already at $18, $20 an hour. You would think that instead of getting $14 an hour, you want to get back to the workforce and start work. And I'm just talking about basic entry level, I'm not talking about the other positions. So, yeah.
wow. Well, my wife and I were just in the grocery store here locally, and we're in Delaware right now. And there was a little sign posted that they're looking for employees, and they're offering $1,000 signing bonus or something to go, I guess, stock shelves at grocery stores. I've never seen such.
That's happening. Yeah, it is, honestly, it's ridiculous. But well, I also understand the other side of the story because I get to hear both. But at the end of the day, we cannot move forward as a country if we don't do that, if we don't get back to work. The good thing, though, that has come out of it is that those positions that are office clerical positions, a lot of them, their employers are allowing them to work from home, which is phenomenal. Now they realize that they don't have to have that control of having somebody sitting in the office unless there must be personal interaction. So, like my job, I can do it from home. I'm here, and our boss said, you want to continue working from home? Go for it. You want to have every other Friday off? Go for it. So they are giving us the 980. So every other Friday I'll have off. I'll have the ability to continue to work from the house. Just go to the office once a week to meet with the team and have that human interaction in person, obviously. But a lot of companies are doing that now. They are understanding. But you guys, I'm so happy to be here.
Glad to see you
Guys.
Yeah. I haven't shown up in an office in decades, so I don't even remember what that's like, really. Actually, I do remember what it's like, and that's why I don't show up anymore. So yeah. And we could do, and we have done, millions of dollars worth of business online with people I've never met in person. I've never met you in person.
No, not yet. Not yet. I've been hearing that you guys are going to Vegas. Is
Yes.
that
All right. So quick reminder for everyone. Thank you, Evelyn. And we're going to be setting up like the logistics and whatever. But I've got an event in Las Vegas with the e-commerce group 23rd and 4th of October. And so we're looking at the 18th through the 21st, going out to Pahrump, right on the other side of the Spring Mountains, about a 45-minute drive, and doing a 4-day pistol course. So for those who want to get in on that, and then we can have time at the winery and, do the, I don't drink, but they got the wine tasting, and they've got the best gourmet restaurant in that entire valley there. And it's not glamorous. It's a dirt patch. Okay. But it's as good as it gets in Pahrump. So, and then we're going to do something in Vegas as well. Vegas is a whole different scene. It's the lights, and maybe go see Cirque du Soleil, helicopter ride to the Grand Canyon. I mean, it's right across in Arizona. There it is. Right. So, but we're putting that together. That's October, and be awesome to see you there, Madam Chop Chop, if you can swing it.
I can't. I just started working for them, and I don't have yet the time off.
Right.
But if you guys head a little bit east, maybe I can swing it, if it's a weekend or something.
Yeah, well, this is just a regional thing, and it doesn't mean that anyone in England couldn't come. You sure you can, right? But for Shannon and I, we live in the Southwest, so it's like a 5-hour drive from Phoenix, whatever, right? So, all right, very good. And we want to get to England too. I have not been to England in at least 10 years. So, yeah, I think I told you guys some stories about the time Shannon was with me. We were going through London, getting somewhere. We had a day in London, which I think cost us £300 for like fish and chips and a train ride on the Heathrow Express. It was like unbelievable. Yeah, you guys got to make some money to live in London. All right. Thanks again, Evelyn. Who else do we got here who wants to come out and say a few words? Let's hear from you. So good to see all of you. We got Daisy and Carlene. We got Mandy, Edward, Giovanna. Right. Hey, Robin, Toyin. Toyin's here. Look at this crew that we got here today. There's Toyin. Anybody else? Come on out. Come on out. Love to hear your perspective. Again, the topic is acknowledging ourselves and others and the unfair advantage that is when dealing with ourselves and others. I got to deal with myself all the time. Here comes one of my favorite people on planet Earth. Hi, Carlene. How are you?
Hi, John. Hi, everyone. Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you. I can't see you.
Okay, yeah, because my video is off, but my audio is on. So great topic. It's so good to be here. I've missed a lot of live sessions, and the replay doesn't give you the same effect. It's not the same when you look at the recordings. You don't get to see everyone or take part in the chat. So really happy that I'm actually able to catch the live today. Evelyn, it's good to see you. Virginia, you look amazing. Toyin, Giovanna, Mandy, Gail, Stefan, Edward, everyone, and those who I can't see, hello. So the topic today, it actually plays into what Evelyn just said, where many people are refusing or maybe probably not going back to traditional jobs. And there's a reason for that. Like what we're looking at is the dawn of a new day, where people are now starting to prioritize their mental health, their well-being, their families. These things sat on the back burner for a long time, and now the shift has begun. And this actually is something that's personal to me as well, because many people, because of being on lockdown, you got to sit with your feelings, you got to sit with things that you probably didn't have the time before to pay attention to. It was a hamster wheel. It's a rat race for a reason. And when COVID came and put the brakes on that rat race, people had to face the realization that, hang on a second, I was actually running myself into the ground. There was burnout. There were people who had drifted apart from their families. There were so many things that now came into perspective where you had to take the accountability for where your life was heading, the trajectory of your life, and then decide, hang on a second, am I going to go back on that hamster wheel? Am I going to go back into that rat race? The corporate world, all those things that we were doing, it was not serving us. It wasn't serving us. And the topic is perfect because you said, how do we acknowledge ourselves and acknowledge other people? Because especially in the service industry, the workers in the food and beverage industry, in retail, they are treated like they're not even human. Some people go into these industries, go into these places and do not even acknowledge the waiter. And as you rightly said, John, something as simple as saying thank you, they don't even do that. So if you are a server and you have to spend all these years dealing with rude customers, why would you even want to go back into the food and drinks industry? Why on earth? Who wants to subject themselves to that? No one. It doesn't matter if all of a sudden they have to start from scratch, because a lot of people, that's what's happening. They are starting from scratch, but they are reclaiming their lives. They're saying, do you know what? Enough is enough. I need to start paying attention to the few years I have left, because many people have more years behind them than in front of them. And they're realizing that the little time I have left on this planet, let me see if I can do something. And as you said, John, pull up their bootstraps, because this is the time for us to now realize I have to take responsibility for my life. I can't blame the government. I can't blame anything else. I can't blame my neighbors. I can't blame my parents. The blame game is over. Therefore, I now have to take responsibility, and that includes people having to realize that what we were doing before was not serving us. Let's change the way we do things. Let's change the way we live, the way we treat other people, our diet. All these things have to, it's like an overhaul. So what you're seeing, Evelyn, that is actually the fallout. That is the fallout, because I would be actually worried if people were rushing back to work. I'd be worried. I'd be like, haven't we learned anything? Because that model was not working. That model was responsible for many people succumbing to COVID, because COVID wasn't really killing people. What killed people was the stress. What killed people was their bad eating habits. All those things compounded. So when a virus came, it wiped them out. But realistically, you're supposed to survive COVID. But apparently, if you're not healthy and if you have underlying issues, and some people did not even know that. The only reason you don't know that is because we're not even taking time to pay attention to our health. We're not taking time to pay attention to the warning signs, the red flags. And then before you know it, boom, that's it. So people have to start paying attention now. And this is what we're seeing. And I'm happy that I'm able to catch the live today. And I missed you guys. So I'm going to jump off now. So thank you again, John.
Thank you, Carlene. It's always a pleasure to hear from you. And hey, look, we realized that if we don't have to show up in a specific location, why should we? Right. So I think there's going to be a lot of empty high rises moving forward. And I guess they'll find use for them. But yeah, it's definitely a dawn of a new era. Thank you, Carlene. We got Stefan here and then Sharon. Hey, Stefan, come on out, brother. By the way, Stefan, I don't know which day or what time zone. Like, we need to book the podcast thing. I know I want to help you with that. And
yes, no problem.
Yeah,
I'll email you afterwards. Can you do it whenever? I asked the producer, and he said he can do it whenever time is good. So.
Okay, good. All right, because I'm
So,
like busier than a one-legged man in an ass kicking contest. So, all right, go ahead. You were saying.
I really appreciate this topic a lot, and what Carlene said, especially because it's very personal to me because I'm in that situation right now. What I earn on unemployment with the pandemic assistance is it's not as much as I was earning when I was in the office, but I'm also picking up money on the side doing other jobs right now. It's still not ideal. I don't want to be in this position forever. However, the thought of going back and working in another medical office now, after everything I went through over 12 years, and door-to-door sales before that, and then restaurants before that, and you name it, paintball, referee, outdoor venture coach, like all sorts of crazy different things. And it's rat race runs you down, and it's exciting at first. Probably run into people who are, and I have to better not letting that bother me. I'm also very passive. If there's a mood going on, I kind of pick up on it a lot. And so going back to work right now for $14 an hour in a medical job doesn't make sense when I can get $14 an hour going to Stewart's. And the idea of working at Stewart's is about as appealing as going to a doctor's office. So I'm trying to use this time to build up my business, do the podcast, get this farming thing off the ground. We had a bit of a setback with the seeds. And, I'm just trying to figure it out. And it's not easy. It's like, how do you acknowledge yourself when your whole life have looked down at people who are on unemployment? And now I'm on unemployment and I'm trying to date. So it's kind of like this, well, I'll just tell them up front, because if you can't accept me with that, then I don't want, and it's just same thing with jobs too. It's like, if you can't accept what I am and the limitations that I have, even though I am a very hard worker, do I really want to go back to that? Is there another way? And so that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Okay. Well, I've got an idea for you, Stefan, and that is that people buy competence, right? Can you do the work? Now I'm talking in terms of like meritocracy. Like I don't care about, where you've been. I'm interested in where you're going, and if you can help me get where I'm going. So if I'm hiring, then it's, that's the main consideration. Now, if you've got something that would cause a low confidence level, right? Like you've been, running amok for the last 20 years, and suddenly you just turned over a new leaf. Like was talked about in the book we all read recently, Power of Consistency by Weldon Long. Here he was, prisoner for 13 years, right? And turned his life around while in prison, and then was looking for, a way to get his foot in the door with various, jobs and what have you. Now, of course, he runs his own companies and he's made millions. Very nice. Okay. But the resistance to that was something that he had to acknowledge right there. You know what? I caused this. I was responsible. But this is why these people are resistant to me. So
the other realize is that I wasn't very good at my job. Not good enough to be continuing in that position.
Okay, great. So then look, I was incompetent. Got it. Okay. And look, in the trade that I was in before getting into, sales and being an author and all that, it's very black and white, right? Either the engine runs or it doesn't. There's nothing subjective about that, right? So competent or incompetent. And so, now, of course, being put in charge of millions of dollars worth of equipment, right? You damn well better be competent. So I got the job, right? However, if you've been barking up the wrong tree, like, what, this sucks, I don't even want to do this. You're never going to excel at something that you're not interested in or, mildly passionate about even, so maybe that's like what Carlene was just talking about, the dawn of a new era for you, right? And just you personally. And so does that mean that it's, instantaneous, riches or something? No, but the intent is there. And look, Stefan, I would think everyone here would corroborate as well. We've seen you just, really come together and, not that you've arrived or anything, but you seem much more confident in yourself and purposeful than when I first met you. Yeah. Right. So I'm not here to psychoanalyze you or anything, but just that's how you.
No, it's true. It's true. It's I feel like I don't know where I'm going yet, but I'm taking action on a lot of avenues, and one of them is going to work. I don't know which one.
Okay.
And it's just, that's the problem, is when you have a lot of different talents and a lot of different interests, it's like, you got to pick one, that's the thing too. So.
Yeah, do that. Pick one, get into momentum, and then, look at other stuff if you want. Right. So anyway, so glad you're here, Stefan. You're awesome. Keep showing up, brother. And out in the woods, I see you out there. Good times. You know who else is out in the woods right now? Sharon Atherton. Can you believe it? Hey, Sharon, looks like you're in the woods. Are you in your backyard? Where are you?
I'm in a neighborhood. Yeah, it's a beautiful little neighborhood near my home. But yeah, as I mentioned earlier, I'm just kind of getting conditioned with the heat and humidity for band camp in a few weeks. But I tell you what, Stefan and Carlene and Evelyn, you guys have brought up so many points that just touched on what John started with. Individually, I think with COVID and technology, there is a huge shift going on. And I mean individually. And let me start with Stefan. Stefan, you're aware of this shift in yourself, but it's happening all around us. You're not alone. So as a teacher, I'm seeing this in the classroom and did see it this past year as students or parents actually, who chose to let their students come to school and have that personal interaction. But I think of, gosh, more than 50% of the students who stayed home and didn't have that personal touch, that pat on the back. And it was, I won't say discouraging, but I just wondered, are those students at home doing better in that situation because they thrive more in an individual setting where they don't have the distraction? I teach middle school. They don't have the distraction that middle school is to some students. And then the students who didn't thrive and they're being held back a year. So the shift I'm sensing in school age children, it's going to be huge. Again, because of COVID, because of technology, they're going to be challenged in so many ways to figure this out very quickly. And I don't teach in a very upscale school, I guess. But I'm just really concerned that some will thrive and some will not. But Stefan, again, your awareness of you're wanting to seek out something better for yourself, that's the first step, man. That is the first step. So proud of you for seeing that and saying no to something and not settling for a job that you know you won't be happy with when you reach my end. I'm the opposite. I'm probably going to retire in 1 to 5 years from teaching at least, but I'm looking for other opportunities because I don't want to come home and sit in a chair and watch TV. That's not me. So I'm looking for opportunities and I'm working hard to figure out what it is I want to do. And through this group, I've met people who've opened doors for me. So keep on coming back. You're going to hear something or see something that you're going to grab onto and go, yeah, I can do that. And you're going to get passionate about it and you're going to be super successful. Just keep your ears open.
Oh, thank you, Sharon. Yeah, I think we all deserve to hear that. That's good stuff. And so I just was thinking of something I read in Psychocybernetics, which we recently read together, right? Where he talked about you may retire from your job, whatever your post is or was, don't retire from life, right? So maintaining that purpose and that sense of discovery. Beautiful stuff. Thank you, Sharon. Now here come all the hands. Look at this. I've got Glenn and Edward on deck. Can you believe it? We're going to hear from these two guys. Who let them in the room? Hey, Glenn, what's going on? Thank you again for holding down the fort.
Man, I thought security was better in this bar.
Yeah.
So the topic, I guess, changes and looking for new things and refusing to settle. The only thing, though, this is Fun Friday, right?
Yeah.
It is Fun Friday. So I had this debate the other day with a flat earther. Oh. You know, one of these guys?
Yeah.
This dude got so mad, he stormed off. And he told me that he was going to walk to the edge of the earth just to prove me wrong. He'll come around eventually.
Okay, there you go. Got it.
So anyway, this whole thing about don't settle, if I assume correctly that this is part of the topic here, there are new things, new times with everything that's been going on. People have new choices to make, new decisions. One of the most powerful decisions I ever made, I made in 2010. I walked away from a job, walked away from an entire career, in fact, because I was, as you may know, I worked a long time in IT, a business, a Mac computer consultant and all that. I actually got to work for Apple for a while, which was a very cool job. But as time went by, I was living in the Middle East at the time. I was still doing IT work. And then I realized that I had for far too long been allowing computers to replace music in my life. So I walked away from the job, quit, left. It was a good job, good money, just left. Do you know that the day I walked out of the building from that job, my phone rang with somebody wanting to talk to me about a music gig that weekend. And from that point was the happiest five of the happiest, most exciting, most fun, most productive years of my life, because I got to spend those 5 years making music full time, making a living, making music. I've done a lot of things over years, but that decision, I believe that decision finally opened the door for me. And I did probably more gigs in that 5 years. I'd been doing some stuff, but in that period of years, I probably did more gigs than I had done almost in my entire career before that. And so, courage was the thing for me, to finally have the stones to make that tough decision and walk away from something good, right? What's the old saying? The good is the enemy of great. For me, I had been pushing away the great in my life because I was holding on to the good. And so I don't know what your particular situation is, Stefan, and I don't mean to point a finger at you. I'm just sharing my own personal testimony that if somebody is in a situation where you got something, I got a pretty good job, I'm in a pretty good situation here, but there's something else you want to do, life is too short to not do what you love. That's what I learned. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Back to you, John.
Awesome. Thank you, Glenn. And I hear you're I've heard you sing before, but you just impressed some people recently, apparently, with a video, which I've not seen yet. So, yeah, that's fun. All right. Hey, guess what? We're going to hear from Edward now. And I think Edward's going to end with a profundity of all profundities. Prepare to be enlightened, ladies and gentlemen. Edward Mosley.
Glory.
Edward Mosley.
Hello, everybody. How y'all doing?
All right.
I took some notes on your opening dialogue, and the words that came out to me were avoidance and being aloof is not the answer. Anger is not the way. And you have to understand the components of understanding, okay? And then you talked about acknowledgement of people. So this is the contemplation I want to try to give or get some feedback on. What if you have always had a great relationship with an individual and all of a sudden they stop acknowledging you, they start avoiding you and being aloof, they don't communicate, they don't let you know what has changed. They just act like they're in fear of you and what you represent. And all you've ever done is edify, be righteous toward, uplift, encourage, and all those sort of things. But yet the feedback now is absolute, disrespect, to be honest with you, because if you think about it, you go from being acknowledged, like you said, to not being acknowledged, which means that now whatever you're saying or whatever you've been doing, it may have been all, a fake. It may have been all, I guess a misdirection scenario. I don't know. So just, want to get a little feedback on that.
Okay, well, it's a huge topic. I will tell you that that if I've done some wrong to warrant someone's, you know, being critical of me, then I'd like to know what I did wrong, and I probably should
Absolutely.
know. Okay, because it's not my intent to go around offending people. Now, people can be offended very irrationally, especially these days, where they can invent stories that could make themselves feel righteous, right? So there's a word you just used, or and indignant, right? There's that, you know, righteous indignation, because perhaps they've done something wrong to you. And so now to make less of you makes their unethical actions not so bad, because after all, you're a piece of crap. So something like that. That's some interesting psychology, right? We can go down that road. Again, there's a big conversation. Okay. But there is that phenomenon where, you know, because I wronged you, now I'm critical of you. Maybe I talk bad about you to the other guy, right? So this way, my wrongdoings aren't as severe, because after all, you're not so great yourself. So that's, I don't know, because I can't imagine, you know, the specifics of the situation. But the other thing is, to be able to not need the validation of others. That's the thing, is we are, as conscious people, we can go with the intent to impress others with increase. And I intend to be very acknowledging and welcoming, and, you know, all the things that impress with increase. However, I don't need it from you. I can observe whether or not you do, but I'm actually playing a bigger game where I'm not subjected to the conditions on the playing field. I'm the coach. Let's say I'm the coach, or I'm the referee, or I'm up in the announcer's tower now, and I'm observing the players on the field. And I'm also one of them. That's one of the roles that I play. Okay. But I'm not so affected by it. I don't need your validation. Yeah. Great weather today, man. Yeah. All right. I know you got to go. See you later. Right. So you don't come as often, you don't stay as long, or whatever. But it's just like that whole, you know, it's just that whole keep it light and let them be whatever they're going to be. It sounds like it's their issue, not yours, but you can make it your issue. And it sounds like you've taken that opportunity to make it your issue. Now, again, I don't know the severity of it, or like what the relationship is. I mean, if you're talking about like a spouse or something, oh, okay, well now, yeah, that's a bigger conversation, right? So I don't know, Edward. Um, does that help in any way?
Well, you know, the thing that is the part that just kind of blows your mind is that there's no communication. There's no way of acknowledging wrong or right. It's just, you know, silence. No,
Okay.
no return calls. No correspondence. When it used to be, you make a phone call and first ring, pick up. Now
Okay.
nobody picks up.
Okay. And it's not your spouse. So
No,
right. Okay. Very good. So yeah, that's weird. And that's like an unsolvable problem, right? That's terribly frustrating. It's like, what? This is something I did, something that, did they die? I don't know. Are they alive? Like, do you know? Yeah. Okay. So, I don't know. This sounds like a mystery. Maybe we can make a game out of it. That's better than sitting there and just wondering, right? Let's play a game.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know.
you know what you said was that let's see, get their view, components of understanding, and basically acknowledging what their view is. So I guess the mission that I need to undertake is to find out what their view is, you know, because it's something that's very vital. I got to get it done, but I've
Okay.
got to I've got to understand what their view is, because it's obviously something that they're looking at that's not there or whatever. I don't know.
Okay. I got some resources for you as well. I'll get with you. Yeah, we need to get together one-on-one. I can show you
Okay.
some stuff dealing with interpersonal relationships and communication skills, stuff like that. So I've gone down that rabbit hole pretty deep. So anyway, good. Glad you're here. Lindsay and Glenn, and then we're going to have to wrap up. Come to the top of the hour. Where is my friend Lindsay?
Hi.
There she is.
I just love all how your topic can go off on so many different angles and perspectives.
Right.
And I just love that. And I want to just acknowledge being a part of this group and everyone here, because through what everyone's went through COVID, this has been constant. Somewhere you can depend on having people to back you up, no matter what you do, and that is huge. And I just wanted to say thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you, Lindsay. So glad you're here. All right, good times. Glenn, closing thoughts.
Just one final thought I had with regard to what Edward was saying. And you know it's coming, right, Edward? You know it's the Star Trek reference, right? I was actually reminded of a line from an episode. Your situation, I don't know, don't need to know the details. Captain Picard once says to another member of the crew who has lost in a situation, can't understand why. I mean, I did everything right. I made all the right moves and blah, blah. And Captain Picard says, it is possible to do everything right and still lose. That is not weakness. That is life. Edward, you may never know. You may never in life be able to find out what the situation was or why this person ghosted you. And you know what? That's all right. That's okay, because you are obviously moving forward with your goals and your things that you're accomplishing, your mission in life, and that person clearly has chosen not to be a part of your life any longer, or at least for now. It doesn't mean you did anything wrong. Like you say, what you're saying, you did everything right, and that relationship is lost, at least for now. Hey, we move on. Possible to do everything right and still lose. That is not weakness. That is life. Back to you, John.
All right. In the words of Captain Kirk.
Picard, actually.
Picard, yeah. When are you going to see Captain Kirk? That's next month?
Next month, from the 10th to the 16th of August, going out, Paula and I are both. We're flying out to Vegas, and we're going to meet, among other things, going to meet all four remaining members of the original cast.
Right.
It's going to be such a blast. So looking forward to it.
Leonard Nimoy, has he passed?
Leonard Nimoy passed about 6 years ago.
I did not know that. Okay. All right. Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and wrap up. I am going to be back here with you Monday. Again, if you need anything, hit me in Facebook group. And because Be Heard is off the calendar for today, suspending that for today and only today, I will be back here.